G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. This is a 1v1 game and damn hasn't it been some time since we have been here. Spawning in on the north side of the map playing as the French, we have got the Australian sensation. It is hot. On the opposite side of the map, it's been quite some time since we've seen him. He's playing as the Red Russ. It is the one and only TheMista. Yes, that is right. He is back. It has been some time since we have seen this guy, and we have got him on a brand new map. This is Frisia. Actually, I think it's called something different. I'm going to have to double check what it is, but I know it as Frisia. So for anybody who is playing along at home and witnessed the map contest that I ran for the month of May, you would be familiar with this map. And the reason why is because this map actually did very, very well. In fact, I think this map got third place in that contest. So this map is, it's a bit interesting. We'll talk about it a little bit more as the game goes on, but most importantly, I want to focus on Mista because guess what? He's back, baby. He is back, and he is in top form. We are on the road to Red Bull Wallalol right now, and Mista has made his way all the way through to almost the final rounds right now before we go into the big grand finals. And he's going up against Hut, which, as you guys know, Hut is an incredibly good player. I would probably put him in my top 12. If I had to choose 12 top players, I would be picking him. Nice little snipe there away from Hut. So I would definitely be considering Hut to be an incredibly good player. So Mista's going to be going up against him today. Now, where's Mr. Bean? Where is Mr. Bean? Where is Mr. Bean? But where has TheMista been? Those are two different questions, but I'm going to be answering the second one. So for anybody who doesn't know, Mista is actually a farmer IRL. So not just a farmer in game, he is also a farmer in real life. And so that means that his work is a bit seasonal. Well, not a bit seasonal, it's very seasonal. So whenever he's got rain, he can't actually play. And so apparently he didn't have rain on this day, and so he was able to play. And that was essentially it. I'm not 100% sure on the way that it works, but yeah, that's the reason why he's been so inactive, because he's got a lot going on IRL. So unfortunately for him, or fortunately for him, he's going to be playing Age of Empires 4 today, and that is absolutely fine by me because this guy is just on another level. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in N4C, so that was Nilly's Apartment Cup, kind of, but it was just N4C. Mista actually was doing very, very well at N4C. He was there. I got to meet him. He's a beautiful soul, a great guy, and just an absolute star. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got today. But let's talk a little bit about this. I think it's called Frisian Marshes, I want to say. So this map is a bit of an interesting one. Definitely nothing like it in the map pool at the moment. So obviously the biggest thing that you're going to notice is that there are these small little ponds all over the map. Now, you can't put a dock in here. I mean, you can put a dock in here, but it's going to squash all of the fish that are there. So the idea is that you would be putting down a mill, and then you would use that mill to actually take these shoreline fish here instead of using a dock. And so basically it's a way for players to have an alternative source of food. So instead of going onto farms, instead of going onto berries, you can actually come out and go out onto these bad boys. And keep in mind, these actually gather faster than a boar. So it's incredibly important to consider that when you're making your decisions in this game, because a lot of the fighting may revolve around this when you're playing on these maps, just because villagers are typically going to be looking to try and take advantage of that. And you can see Mista's got a great little spot here. If he wants to chuck a hunting cabin here, he's going to be able to take out the shoreline fish as well as the deer. But keep in mind, the exception here is that the deer still are considered hunts, so they're going to be 25 food a return trip, whereas the shoreline fish are just shoreline fish, so they are 10. So wheelbarrow is going to be a really strong improvement to have on this map. Let's talk a little bit about this matchup. Obviously, we've got Rus, we've got France. It is a classic matchup. It is a matchup as old as time itself. But in all seriousness, this is a pretty common matchup that we do see. I would say it's a pretty even matchup. Some people would say that it is a little bit French favored. I could agree with that. Maybe like 52-48, something like that. But on a map like this as well, Frisian Marshes, where there's just a little bit more wolves than normal, a little bit more sheep. You'd probably even maybe say it goes over to the Rus, being a little bit favored there. Now, with this map, you've also got resources in the back of the base. You can see we've got double wood line in the back of the base. And this is something to note, is that your wood line typically almost always will spawn away from your enemy. So if you're not sure, because it is a bit of a strange map in that you don't actually spawn across the map from your enemy. Typically, on most of these maps, you would spawn, you know, over in this corner here, where your enemy is over in this corner here. So here, basically, you're spawning on a close position to them, and the idea is that you're expanding away from your enemy. So it's a little bit different. We don't actually have a map like this in Age of Empires 4 at the moment. Maybe, I guess there would be an argument that you could say maybe Danube River is a bit similar in that regard, because you guys do both spawn up sort of towards the top of the map, and then you're expanding down. You know, not down on the map, but down away from the river. But we got ourselves a couple of scouts being caught already. Mista not going to be happy with that. We can see Mista's already making some spearmen as well, coming through on the School of Cavalry. It's going to be a horseman that's coming out, so he's going to be super happy, Hut is, after picking up that double scout right there. And of course, that's on the stone as well. So Hut's going to be going for a double town center opening, already delaying that quite late. We're at the 6-minute mark now, and only getting out that, only getting that stone in at the moment. We'll take a look and see whether he's got the wheelbarrow in. Indeed, he does. He's also getting double broadaxe, so going very, very greedy here. I do like this from Hut. I think this is a super smart play. French, as a civilization, just have the ability to play greedy more than any other civilization, in my opinion, just because of the School of Cavalry. You get yourself a free stable, and a stable buys you map control. But now we also see a second town center going to be coming down for Mista here. So both players obviously looking to invest a little bit into their economies. Now this is obviously a really smart town center as well, because it's going to guarantee that you've got great collection rates on all of these shoreline fish here. And if you really want to, you can even double up on this one as well. So you're going to have plenty of food. Great little spot here as well. It gives them a really good point. Jeez, that's loud, isn't it? Why was that boar so damn loud? That was a very loud boar. But yeah, it gives him a great sort of central location here to sort of use as his anchor point. But we'll take a look inside the base of Mista. So Mista's obviously just done 2 trades for stone at this point. He's a very happy camper. Stable going to be coming down now for him as well. He's going to have to pay for that. We see the second town center for Hut coming down. It's going to be going down on the shoreline fish as well. So both players opting for the same thing. Wasn't able to fit one in here. So the theory that I've sort of put down for this map, and you can see that the villagers here have gone onto wood instead of onto food. For whatever reason, they just decide that wood is the best thing to go for. I'm sure Hut will fix that up eventually. But my theory is for maps like this is if you can get a town center between 2 ponds, it's so good because it's got plenty of surface area. It's just going to help you with your gathering up. But I guess in addition to that, I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think of this map? What do you reckon? Is it a cool map? Yay? Nay? Because we're going to be covering it a lot. Obviously, this game is from the Road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy. So I'll be leaving a link in the description to where you can watch the other games that have happened. Because this is actually a 3-game series. This is going to be the first game in the series that's going to be happening. So I'm going to be bringing that one to you. We see triple stables now coming down for the Mista as well in the back of the base. I like the fact that he's putting them in the back of the base as well. Keep in mind, it's very difficult to scout out on this map. I've got a feeling on this map that Barbican Rush is probably going to be pretty damn good as well. Can you imagine, you know, this is the French player's base, you're playing China, and you just put a Barbican right here, between gold, between stone. Okay, they've got, you know, food that's available. You could just throw down an outpost here. And then it's like, well, the Barbican buys you so much space, chuck another outpost there. Like, you've locked them into a corner with a single barbecue and 2 outposts. So it's kind of wild. But we'll check in with the players, see how they're doing. And you can see now that those villagers have indeed been moved over to food. They are gathering up those shorefish and doing so damn quickly as well. You can just see how quickly it goes in. But now on the front, we've got Hut pushing forward, going to be able to pick up a couple of spearmen. We'll check in with Mista and see how he's doing as he is under attack. He's actually got 5 lancers in the queue at the moment. I would suspect with lancer numbers like that, he was probably thinking of getting up to castle. Is that a 4th stable? No, it's not. I thought that was a 4th stable. I'm like, oh my lord, this guy's an absolute madman. But you can see he's just hiding these out, and he knows that his enemy's not going to be able to scout scout them either, just simply because he's already got vision over there. Kind of looks like he's hiding them. Maybe even chuck them in the wooden fortress. Maybe that could work for you, mister. Yeah, interestingly here, his position is right up against the stealth forest, so it's always going to be a little bit harmful, a little bit of a double-edged sword, because you just don't know what is in the stealth forest, and by the same token, your enemy can't see through it. But if they've got a scout, then they definitely can. We see a scout on the backside here for Hut. Still yet to spot out that infrastructure from Mister. We'll check in and see exactly what he's up to. Actually, you know what? I reckon he's probably spotted it, and we just don't know it yet. Or we just can't see that it's been spotted out because he's got double racks. And you don't ever see a French player going double racks, not this early in the game. But this is one of the French build orders that I do like. So this is the double TC into feudal pressure. At least that's what it looks like it's going to be. There's no guarantee that that's going to be the case. Outpost going to be coming up here for Hut, providing a little bit of line of sight. I think this is just to give him a bit more garrison space out here. You can see he's got 19 villages, but now that's Spearman on the front side. Going to be picking up a scout over here. Won't unfortunately be able to take it out, as a lot of knights are now moving out as well. But keep in mind, Hut's got that double barracks, which is going to help him out on that production front. He's going to have to fall back here. With all of his units, he should be able to hold on to this, but those knights are going to fall back as well. Keep in mind, he's got the chivalry coming through on those knights, so going to be a nice little position here for Hut. We'll check in on the village account. 49 villages for Hut at the moment, compared to Mister, who's on 47. So he's keeping up with his opponent, the French opponent. Obviously, he's going to be falling behind him, though. That's one consideration to make, is that you will fall behind a French player eventually. But there are mitigating factors that you can bring up. As an example, if you get up to castle first, you're going to be able to grab up those relics. And if you can get, say, a not necessarily a 3-2, but like a 4-1 split on relics, you're going to be super happy with that. A 4-1 split on relics is absolutely what you want in this matchup for the Rus. But now we've got a bit of a raid coming down. Hut going to be jumping towards the base of the Mister. Now, this obviously gets spotted out by Mister. He knows about it, so he's going to keep a couple of units back at home. At the same time, back towards his enemy's base, he's doing a little bit of a raid. That outpost being dropped down, and we have some long-distance mining coming through. Mill going to be dropped down here. Now, one of the theories also hitting him with a raid back on the wood line. Mister is all over him at the moment right now. Raid coming in on that front side. Going to be able to pick up a knight. Let's see if those villagers have been pulled. Now they're only going to get pulled. It looks like one villager did go down. Still no textiles just yet. A lot of these villagers are on low health, but now the villagers have just frozen for a second. I'm not sure what has happened here. Why the villagers have been issued a stop command. It might be that Hut's just focusing on other areas right now because he's under attack on multiple fronts. Villagers do eventually get back inside that town center. Attacks continuing over on the west, or rather the eastern flank, but he's going to be able to force him back. Now, one of the reasons why people theorize on this map in particular that Rus and French are so strong, for the French, it's that they actually have cheaper mills. So when you take a look here, actually, never mind, we'll talk about that a bit later because we got ourselves a bit of a fight over here. Back over towards the base as well, we can see that house is, never mind, it's only a scout. So essentially, the French have got cheaper mills, and you can see that it's not the best surface area. If you put down one mill here, you're going to be able to get 2 of these bad boys, but you're not going to get all 5 of them in an efficient manner. So you can drop a second mill on the other side. If you've got to pay 50 wood for that, that's quite a lot. But 25 wood, that's not too bad. Another raid back up towards the north. Mister doing a great job here. You can see just how much effort or how much you would save just from a single wall across there. But now we've got raids coming out on both sides, or attacks on both sides. A little bit of a double-pronged attack here. Mister's knight number's looking very healthy. He's going to have some spears out now for himself as well. Probably going to need to mix in some archers. You can see he's just going for cav as well as infantry at this point. No archers, no ranged infantry at this point in time. But yeah, just and you might think, okay, well, 25 wood drongo, it's not a big deal. You know, you're going from 25 wood here, 50 wood here. Well, then you got to extrapolate it and consider how many of these ponds are you actually going to do that in. Because if you do it for every single pond and you got 7 ponds, well, now you're starting to talk about, you know, a pretty decent saving of like 175 wood. So it does make a difference. And obviously French, really strong, versatile civ, very good on aggressive maps. And this is definitely an aggressive map. You do spawn quite close, but now the knight's going to be heading in. Spearman on the backside also going to be looking to get in on the action, forcing the enemy away from their base. And just keep in mind, those knights are going to be able to heal up, so he's happy with this trade. He's very, very happy with this. Hut is. So Mister definitely going to be fighting an uphill battle from here. Back towards the base for Mister. He's now adding in more barracks. Looking good as he continues to extend out towards the middle of the map. And as I mentioned earlier, you know, on maps like this, normally you would, or in general, like think Dry Arabia, that sort of thing, you would be expanding towards your enemy, okay? Because you're over here and your enemy, they're over here. And so naturally you have to come out of the base. But your expansion is typically a weak point. So by doing that, it sets you up for a little bit of a tough time if the enemy goes for any kind of ram pressure or something like that. But in this map, or on this map rather, you're expanding away from your enemy. And I think that's a pretty cool thing, a pretty cool concept, that you're heading in a, you're going down this way, they're also going down this way, but there's no reason why you can't still fight along this front, and that's exactly what we do see happening. Players not necessarily anchoring towards the expansions, but now another attack can be happening in the middle of the map. Plenty of spears out here for both players now. The numbers looking pretty healthy for our Rus player, TheMista, and now a massive amount of knights going to come in on the backside. Looks like it's going to take Hut by surprise. Those spearmen fighting up against spearmen, you typically never want to be fighting up against enemy spears with your own spears. Very ineffective. Ideally, you want them to be targeting down those cavalry units, but it can be tough. But the numbers now looking good for TheMista at this early stage of the game. TheMista slowly but steadily looking better in this game. We'll take a look at the population. 74 and 48 versus 68 and 16. We've got a massive swing right now in the military number, and it just has to be because of those knights. TheMista doing a great job. Now going to be able to get a decent surround here as well. It looks like he's going to be forced back. Ideally wants to be fighting with the spearmen, so going to be throwing away that handful of units over there. Losing a little bit. That's definitely what Hut wants at this stage. Hut going to continue trying to fall back. Here you can see he's got the tri-unit composition coming in. Going through with archers as well as knights and spears. Spearmen are going to continue moving forward and looking to pick this up, and at the same time TheMista just rallying towards the front right now. I would just remind you guys, TheMista has not been active for a long time. He's only recently just come back in the last week or so, since the lack of rain has been hitting him hard. So it's important to remember that this guy somehow just puts the mouse and keyboard away and then picks it back up, dusts it off, and he's back here already at the top, already looking to take down Hut in this very first game in their series. Now, I'm not going to be casting every single game in this series. I want to let you guys know that I'm only going to be picking the best games from Road to Red Bull, or Road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy. I'm only going to be picking the best games for you guys to watch. But I want to know what you guys think of this map, because personally, I love it. I love this map a huge amount. The creator of this map, Adney, has put this together, and I gotta be honest, I think it's such a great map. I would love to have this in the standard map pool. Even though I don't think China would be a great civilization on this map, I still love it. I still think it's so creative. I think it's absolutely amazing. But now we've got these knights. We'll take a look at TheMista. I'm curious if he's thinking about aging up just yet. Wheelbarrow coming in for TheMista now. In fact, we do have an age up coming through. There it is. It's the high trade house. It's going to be going down in the backside here. Beautiful little spot here. Keep in mind, if you can get a decent high trade house, you can be looking at like upwards of 300 gold here. Now, I don't think he's probably going to be hitting that kind of number. I reckon he might be able to get up towards maybe 180 gold. That's what I'm going to be going with here. But keep in mind, once he gets to that point, he's going to be thinking about upgrades. Upgrades are going to be coming through. Veteran spearmen going to be the biggest one here. 33 spears on this front side. Knights inside, actually. And now looks like those royal knights actually going to have to fall back. Look how many knights just went down underneath that outpost. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 going down right there. A little bit of a battle over on the other side of the map. You can see their players are now looking to contest each other over on that northern front. It is a little bit closer. We see TheMista reaching the castle age. We'll check in on the high trade house. It's 256. Hot diggity dog. That is a damn nice high trade house. So remember we were talking a little bit earlier about, the relic split and getting, if you can get 4 relics and your enemy gets 1, that's not too bad. Well, guess what? You just got 2.5 relics right there. That is the power of the high trade house. Absolutely beautiful. Now, I would still expect that behind this, that TheMista is going to be adding a monastery somewhere. I suspect we're probably going to be seeing warrior monks coming out shortly, but you can see the upgrades coming through for him at the moment. Another wooden fortress going down on the front. And now we also see a big push-up coming through with spearmen. Veteran spears still yet to come through for TheMista, but slowly and steadily, it's going to be making its way in another 20 or so seconds before it comes in. Where are the forces for TheMista right now? He's got a whole bunch of knights out here. Also getting Boyar's Fortitude, going for wedge rivets as well, and also going to be getting in horticulture. So getting all those upgrades. And now spearmen going to be running away. He's got a wooden fortress up over on this eastern flank as well. He's going to be able to dive inside this, but you can see the arrow slits already coming through now. And TheMista going to be finding some villagers back towards this mill. So nicely placed raid coming through once again. And more units continuing to come out from TheMista. Jeez, his economy is big right now. Manages to do a nice little duck, dip, dive, dodge, and duck right there. Spearman coming through. Looks like Archer's going to be rounding around the corner. He's just trying to find them. He knows they're up in this position. Looks like Archers are now going to turn their attention towards the wooden fortress. Spearman, unfortunately, going to get caught out of position. He should be able to get off a nice attack right now. If he just turns around, honestly, just, yeah, fight those damn cavalry units, you're going to absolutely destroy them. And Hut deciding to take that fight with the cavalry there, that's just a terrible trade for him because, honestly, it might seem really, really good for Hut. I don't think it was. I think that was a great fight for Mista. Obviously, he didn't want to lose that, but he got a lot of good damage onto those knights. Now, obviously, they're French knights. They're going to heal up, but he killed a fair few of them as well. There's still 12 that remain, though. But we'll see how he plays it now because he is pushing onto these gold mines, causing a fair bit of idle time. We can see he's got 2 villagers only on gold, and Mista is just funneling units towards him. Looks like Mista's got plenty of resources in the bank as well. A bit of a raid coming up towards the north. Villagers going down underneath the town center, as well as a couple of knights. And now back towards those wood lines. You can see that how many lumber camps he's got down here as well. But unfortunately, lumber camps aren't going to save those villagers right now. They do have their textiles, so that's going to help him out. Knights have been upgraded through to those castle age knights. And there is damage just coming down right now that's so damn heavy. Mista is just absolutely out-microing his opponent, out-macroing his opponent, just really out-strategizing him here. 96 villagers, 31 military versus 75. So a 20 villager difference here. We see a market actually getting dropped down for Hut. He's got 1,300 food of wood in the bank, and that is definitely not what you want because, remember, on a normal map, you would be like, okay, I've got 1,300 wood. What am I going to do? I'm going to do a farm transition. Well, you don't want to do a farm transition here. Why don't you want to do a farm transition here? Because you got berries, because you've got fish, because you've got more berries, because you got more fish. You got so many damn resources out on this map. Go get them, Tiger. Go get them. Mista continuing to get those upgrades through. We see decarbonization, military academy, as well as fitted leatherwork coming through. So he's getting all of his upgrades now. We do see Boyer's Fortitude has arrived, so he's going to have a little bit of extra health there compared to those Royal Knights. I do suspect Hut might be looking to age up very shortly. You can see he's got enough resources now. He could just be able to, he could just sell out that wood and get himself up to the next stage. But going to continue pushing forward in feudal at the moment. Men-at-Arms also going to be coming out now as well. Massive amount of spearmen on the top side. Looking to come through. A bit of a raid on the backside as well. Going to be making their way through. Now the numbers here not looking the best right now for Mista. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but the men-at-arms are getting completely cleaned up by the Royal Knights. As soon as the Royal Knights get attacked by the spearmen, they run away, which is exactly what he needs to do. But now the Springleton placement going to be coming in, helping out a little bit. Royal Knights as well as the men-at-arms going to be looking at, or rather, the Knights as well as the men-at-arms going to be looking to push back those archers. Now, keep in mind, he's got +2 ranged, or +1 ranged attack, but +2 ranged armor is already through for Mista, so he is very well prepared in the event that a castle age comes through. And now a castle age is coming through. It's going to be the Royal Institute, so for Hut, he's really thinking right now, I'm going all in on this bad boy. Now, if I'm Hut, we'll take a look at what his military count is. I think it's F2. There we go. He's only got 8 Royal Knights. That's not a lot. That is not a lot of Royal Knights. If that was 18 Royal Knights, then I could probably justify him just going straight into Royal Bloodlines. But with only 8, that's really not a lot of Knights. So it definitely makes sense to go Royal Institute here. But the problem's going to be that he's not going to be able to really capitalize on those techs just yet. But the longer the castle age goes on, the better for him. And now Mista continuing to just dot the map with units. We see men-at-arms as well as knights up towards the north. He is all over this map, and you just got to appreciate how damn good he is, keeping his enemy on the toes, just expanding out as well. Take a look at this. We don't have a single farm down, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I take that back. There's 5 farms down. I don't know where those farms are. There they are. 5 farms down for Mista. Every other villager is just out on these resources. We see him taking berries. We see him continuing to take the shorefish. There's plenty of shorefish back here. And now the push back over towards his enemy's base begins. Men-at-arms together with spearmen and knights now looking to clean up these archers that are yet to receive their upgrades. We can see Hut still yet to research veterancy. At this point, he's struggling a little bit. He's managed to get 800 stone in the bank, so could think about dropping a keep to try and keep himself alive a little bit longer. But that villager count is starting to drop. 75 villagers versus 109. We see a 35 villager difference at this point. He's going to try and take down some more villagers as well over on that eastern flank and continuing to push back these units. We don't see any artillery coming out just yet for Hut. and he's looking like he might be in dire circumstances. I think that Mr. may have this game, ladies and gentlemen. He's looking good in this first game here, up against Hut, up against the Australian sensation. So if you want to see more Mr., let me know down in the comments. Do you want to see more Mr.? Do you want to see more Frisian marshes? I was going to say marshes. I don't know why we rolled the tongue, but there you go. What do you guys want to see more of? Because I tell you what, I'm excited about this map. I'm looking forward to it. Personally, I want to get my hands on it. I want to see the developers added in, because this is an absolutely beautiful map. I'd love to see official support for this map. Imagine playing this on the ranked ladder. Wouldn't it just be absolutely awesome? But now Hut going to be under attack. We can see he's under attack absolutely everywhere. Meanwhile, Mr., he's got a bit of a raid going down in his base. 7 Knights just going to be looking for some villagers. Those villagers going to be falling back. I just realized Mr.'s on 490 bounty. That'll take him up to 500, actually. So he'll be on triple bounty, but he's actually thinking about... Could it possibly be that he's thinking about going Imperial right now as well? Mr. is just ahead of the game in his enemy's base, running villagers around, taking villagers out. You know what? When I watch people like Mr. play, it makes me not want to play Age of Empires 4 because he's so scary. He's so damn good. Imagine going up against this guy on the ladder. He's just a freak of nature on another level. Now just completely rampaging through his enemy's base. The Keep's going to get up. Villagers are going down while he tries to do it. Keep does manage to get up, but the question is it going to be enough? And I suspect it's not going to be, just because we've got a good game coming through right now. Hut taps out. Mr. is victorious. Fellas, I hope you've enjoyed this casted game. Mr. is back. He's looking amazing. And I'm looking forward to catching you guys in the next one. We're going to cover some more Mr. games. That is for sure. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.